If you've written a good book and it still feels like it's invisible, this, what we're talking about today, is going to feel like relief, because most books don't struggle because they're bad. They struggle because we've never set them up to be found. Hi, my name's Steve Kidd. I am a third generation minister, international best-selling author of 40 books and counting. Over the course of the last 40 years in business, I've had the amazingly incredible privilege of working with brand new startup companies, doctors, lawyers, billionaires, stay-at-home moms, people who you've heard of, people who maybe, because of what you do, you may never hear of them, but they are powerhouses in exactly who they are and what they do. And they are absolutely the kind of people that you want to, need to, and really should know in your life. It is just so super duper cool to have the privilege to be here with you today to talk to you about what an incredibly amazing, wonderful person that you are. It really absolutely makes all the difference in this world that you just simply show up and be you. Now, I want to speak specifically to those of you who have written a book, because ultimately, though, yes, we most definitely have programs to help you write your book. And if your book isn't written, you absolutely need it. It's like if you were going to build a house, you need to have a solid foundation. If you were going to go to if you're need to be powerfully effective at what you're doing. But here's the thing. Once you have the book, have you set the book up for success? The market can't acknowledge, purchase, love, be excited about something that it can't see, that it doesn't recognize, that it doesn't know is there. There are 3 reasons why your book stayed invisible. I want you to understand, they first start off with people knowing, liking, and trusting you. Okay, we buy from people that we know, like, and trust. If we don't have that, smack over. Glad to hear you. Glad to have you here with us. If people don't know who you are, if they don't trust what you're saying, and if we don't do the things to be able to capture that for them, they're not going to want to even buy our book, regardless of how cheap it is. They don't even really, even when you make your book free, they don't want to get it for free because there's not that trust level. That's one of the reasons why that Facebook ad that is so popular, where you're like, go here and give me your email address and I'll give you my ebook for free, or go here and just pay the shipping cost and I'll send you a copy of my book. That's why they don't really convert like people would want to. Like I'm talking about, if you want to make $50,000, plan on spending a couple $100,000. Now there's ways to recoup that with upsells and things like that, but you're buying the people's trust is what you're really basically doing. And yeah, if you do your Facebook ad the right way and those kind of things, you can most definitely, absolutely get people to convert. I'm not saying let's get rid of ads, Facebook, Google, LinkedIn, YouTube, even Amazon ads, but there are elements that you need. And the first one is the know, like, and trust. The second one is your book needs to be set up so that it's truly visible. We talked a lot about this yesterday. We talked about setting up the SEO so that your keywords, categories, and description are set up in a way that allow your book to be found, so that when somebody types in, best-selling book, how to make my book a bestseller. All right. Because my both 20th and 40th books are both about bestseller being the starting. Okay. If they type that in, all right, or whatever your book's about, you know, what does the internet really know about your book to be able to bring your book up? So we'll start with Amazon. We talked about the elements, and you can watch yesterday's if you want to know the elements of how to be able to get your SEO properly. But then let's move out from, okay, we set up our book properly on Amazon. How do we get it right in Google? Well, here's a secret for you. Amazon spends billions in advertising on Google. If your book begins to be visible and valuable and rank on Amazon, it will show up in a Google search. It will also, because a lot of searches, whether you're using Google or Bing or other things, or you just go straight to the horse's mouth, which is AI these days, a lot of people are relying on the AI answer that's at the top. Not because they're always right, but because it's easy. It gives you that quick answer that you're looking for. Okay, and to get yourself into those, you need to make sure that that information is in there. Again, when you have the best-selling book on that subject, that is an easy way for the different AIs to be able to go in and grab the stuff. They're constantly searching the internet for new information, and there are ways that you can actually even make sure that your stuff is submitted into the different AI platforms so that those large language models or large learning models know your stuff, right? Okay, so you need that. You need to be known, liked, and trusted. You need to be findable and searchable and come up in the searches. What's the third thing? Well, you need to understand the underlying element of how people decide what they want to get. Okay, how's that know, like, and trust built? How's our book going to go up in the rankings in Amazon so that when Amazon does ads on Google or other places or dumps stuff to different AI platforms, that your book is one of the things that it's mentioning as the book on that particular subject. We do that by having our ranking go up, and we have our ranking go up in many ways, but the most simplistic and easy to describe for you is the review. And specifically, I'm talking about a verified purchaser review. I'm talking about a real human being, so not a program, not some kind of you post a link on. I got approached by somebody the other day that's like, and I'm going to post it on this site that has, 5 million people. It's like, well, I went and I looked at that site. Yeah, it's 5 million people, and all the posts are people posting their book. Okay, maybe, and I'm sure that in many cases, people do sometimes get those books. Most of the time, probably the free or the very inexpensive ones. But, you're buried in the noise of that. Whereas when you spend your time, effort, energy, and marketing money on getting real human beings that go to their Amazon account, they buy your book, they read your book, and then after they read your book, if they like it, they leave a review for it. Now, there's a whole process in what I just said there. There's a whole lot of steps. I don't want to, belabor the point by going into all those steps, but the follow-up and all of the stuff in that's a whole nother job you could have just getting people to read and review your book. Or you could use a service like ours that has all that in the place for you. And we can do that for you, real, genuine human beings, where we do the legwork for you. You're paying us for us doing the legwork, not for the reviews. Paid reviews is actually completely against Amazon's terms of service. But to have those reviews, absolutely. Those are what you want. And to have somebody that goes and does that. Yeah, you could hire and train a VA, and that VA could do similar, but that VA would have one thing missing that we have, and that's that we've been doing this for 20 years. We have a whole network of places and people that we can tap, that we already know exactly what kind of books do they like and will they read. And we can get it in the hands of, tens, hundreds, thousands, even tens of thousands of people this month, this week even. We could do a 10,000. You want to make a run at the New York Times bestseller list? You need to sell 10,000 copies of your print book this week, not this month, this week. We have all of those in place. Just depends on what level you want to play. Maybe you're at the $200 level. Maybe you're even, hey, Steve, I want to have a conversation with you. That's why I said, drop your link here below. That's why I said it in the description. Drop your link here below to your book. I will give you a couple of pieces of information. I would love to help you out. And more importantly, what I really want to do is hop on a Zoom call with you and give you some free actionable information, what you can do for your book. And if it's a good fit, whether it's $200 or $2 million, whether your budget is $100 a month or it's $100,000 a month, we've got programs for people at every single one of those levels. And we want to help you be able to have that really, truly thriving book that it was made for, that it's meant for, that you absolutely need, want, and always have hoped for. Your book doesn't need to be louder. It just needs to be recognized. And recognition is definitely something that can be built. It can be done on purpose. It can be done with clarity. And absolutely, clarity, consistency, and connection are the key fundamentals among everything else that we ever talk about. It always comes back to that. If you're ready to stop guessing and start moving, this is your moment to let your book be seen. And I'd love to help you with that. Again, drop the link to your book down in the comments. Let's talk. I'm excited for you. I'm so glad to have you around. I appreciate you more than I can ever possibly say. I hope you're happy, safe, warm, and loved. And until we're together again next time, you have an amazingly incredible, great week.